Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, Innovative, I thought you'd be here digging the Crash Bro thumbnail. I knew you would come around to our side. I don't know if we're quite there yet. You're going to want to stick around, Innovative, because this stream, you're the star. I'm going to talk about how that headline is a little bit misleading, but I'm sure you'll agree with me. And then we're going to get into how to comp a property, which I know is something that you specifically asked for. So for everybody that's hanging out on the stream tonight, I'm super excited for this stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We only have one article, and then we're going to jump over to Zillow. And at the request of my buddy, Innovative Sustainable Solutions, he wrote me a comment in my last video that said, hey, Joe, can you show us how you comp a property and how you select comps? And I thought, hey, that's a great idea. And it kind of goes in line with what we're going to talk about, because we're going to be talking about tonight in the article how a California homeowner has lost $650,000 on the purchase and sale of a property. And hopefully by me giving you some techniques on how to find suitable comps, how to analyze those comps, and how to interpret those comps, will avoid this scenario for you, right? Because if you look at the comps and analyze them and understand them, there's a much better chance that you're not going to accidentally overpay. And we're also going to talk about accidentally overpaying for a property and then overpaying for a property on purpose and what that means. So Innovative, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you've checked in, and buckle up, because we've got an hour of goodness coming your way. So as always, it's Wednesday, guys. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Joe, and it's our normal weekly Wednesday stream. I just kind of went over the itinerary for you guys. For those of you that are new to the stream, if this is your first time watching, please go ahead and hit that like button right down here. Really helps out the stream, helps out the channel. And also, if you like the content, if you're digging my style, I would really, really appreciate a subscription to the channel. It helps the channel. It's free, doesn't cost a cent. And all you got to do is click subscribe, and you really do me a huge, huge favor. So please do hit that subscribe button. So like I said, one article, and then we're going to be cruising Zillow the rest of the time. For those of you in the chat, in the audience, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you giving me some of your really, really valuable time. If at any time anybody has any questions or comments, or just wants to, give their 2 cents on something that either I said or the article said, the chat is open, and I'd love to hear from you guys. In fact, that's my favorite part of doing live streams, is interacting with you guys, my audience. So please, at any time, if you guys have thoughts about what we're talking about, if you have questions about real estate, whether or not it pertains to the immediate topic at hand, put them into the chat, put them into the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. So without any further ado, we're going to get the first article up on the screen, and we're going to get rocking and rolling on this. All right, so we're going to go to this guy. All right, so this first article comes from Newsweek, and I'm glad I came across this article. I came across this article today. It came out late yesterday. I came across it this morning, and this is a really, really good example of how headlines can maybe be a little misleading. And I don't think that's going to be news for anyone. I think anybody probably watching the stream probably has a good idea. We are as a society, we've been in the 24-hour news cycle for, gosh, I don't know, probably 30 years now. So we all understand how headlines work. The headline here: California homeowners lose $650,000 as housing price drops. Okay. This headline is great at doing what it's supposed to do, and that's to get people to click on it and to be interested. As we go through this article, you're going to see right now, California homeowners is extremely misleading. They are not talking about California homeowners. They're talking about two homeowners in California that have lost $650,000 as the price of their house drops. So when I read this, I go, California homeowners lose $650,000. Like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And then I read the article, and it turns out that they're talking about a pair of homeowners in California. So the grabby headline is California homeowners lose $650,000 as housing price drops. The actual headline should read, a pair of homeowners in California lose $650,000 as housing price drops. But as we all know, the one that's up on the screen right now is much more juicy than the one that I am proposing, even though it's a little bit more transparent. So right off the bat, Innovative, I'm sorry to tell you that I am putting the Crash Bro kibosh on this title of this article. I think it's a little misleading, and I think that this is a very Crash Bro-y article. And I'm surprised this wasn't authored by the guy from Reventured Capital or Consulting or whatever fake company he has. Anyway, let's get into this. So normally I don't take Newsweek as a source. However, I feel like they've actually been getting a little bit better in terms of the depths of their analysis and also their fairness. There's a few things in this article that I disagree with. And of course, I'm going to share those with you when I get to that point. But overall, I do think this is a pretty good article. And it's got some good information in here that Californians and general homeowners, can be aware of. So let's jump right on in. So this is written by Ashley Parks, as you can see, published Feb 11th, just yesterday at almost 6 p.m. Eastern time. It was updated a little bit after that. All right. The sale of a luxury condominium in Los Angeles has resulted in a substantial financial loss for the seller, underscoring shifting trends in the city's real estate market. The property was sold for $3 million on January 31st, representing a 17.81% loss from its previous purchase price of $3,650,000 in November of 2022. So just 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, this property sold for $3.65 million. And just about 12 days ago, it sold again for $3 million at a loss of $650,000. Now, one thing that I appreciate that Newsweek did is right out of the gate, they said the sale of a luxury condominium in Los Angeles. So that right there contradicts their headline of California homeowners lose $650,000. Right in the first sentence, they've kind of debunked the headline. So again, guys, we've talked about this before. I feel like a lot of my stream is like headline debunking and decoding when it comes to real estate. And this is a really good example. And so just remember, guys, when you're getting your information, when you're getting your data, please keep in mind where you're getting it from, how it's being presented to you, and how it's being spun. Oftentimes you have a really juicy, grabby headline, and then you have this article, and then you get 3/4 of the way through the article, and the article goes, well, actually, it turns out maybe this won't happen for really good reason. There's a really slim chance of a market crash. You're like, well, then why did you even talk about this? So just keep in mind when you're reading those articles, read the whole thing, read it carefully. Don't just go off the headlines. It's not good. All right. So we've got these homeowners that have lost $650,000. Why it matters. The sale highlights ongoing uncertainty in the Los Angeles real estate market, where certain properties are struggling to maintain their value. Despite broader price increases in some regions, fluctuating mortgage rates and economic factors have created a mixed landscape for homeowners looking to sell. So despite broader price increases in some regions, fluctuating mortgage rates and economic factors have created a mixed landscape for homeowners looking to sell. I mean, yes and no. Obviously, the affordability aspect, which they're going to talk about a little more when we get to the article, the affordability aspect certainly is an important thing to consider and think about and realize as a seller, right? Because when affordability is a challenge, it may mean that your property is not as enticing or desirable to those buyers. What happens when your property is not as enticing or desirable? Got to lower the price, right? So, but with that being said, there's no sign of any type of real estate crash. And you're going to see when we get here, we're talking, and another reason I want to debunk this, we are talking about an extremely small, a minute percent of types of properties. Luxury condos over $3 million are not really common. They're common in the beach cities and in the West Side and in Los Angeles, which I know for those that are, nationally might not know what I'm talking about. There are lots of high-end luxury condos, but in the grand scheme of things in California, to say California homeowners are losing $650,000, in value of their house, that's absurd. That's absurd. That's only for a very small portion of the types of properties that we have. And there's even more factors that go into it. And I'll dig into that when we get a little bit closer. The California Association of Realtors, CAR, reported that Los Angeles County's median home price decreased by 5% in December 2024, adding to concerns about market stability. Let's see. What to know. The condominium, part of the Four Seasons private residences, is a 2-bedroom, 3-bath unit spanning 2,374 square feet. The property was initially listed at a higher price before undergoing a price reduction prior to the sale. The fact that it sold at a loss after only 2 years of ownership suggests market headwinds affecting even high-end properties. Now, this is what I don't like about this analysis. Couple things. Number one, we're talking about a condominium, okay? Condos are long known for being more susceptible to price fluctuations. And the reason for that is because they're a slightly less desirable product for most people. Most people generally, as a whole, prefer to own single-family detached residences. Now, that's not making a blanket statement. In fact, I just had a client consult today who said, Joe, we prefer to find a condo or a townhome because we don't want all that. Okay, great. But in the grand scheme of things, condominiums and townhomes just are a little bit more susceptible to the bumps and hiccups of the intricacies of the market. And we saw this back in 2008 and 2009 during the great financial crash. We saw that condos and townhomes dropped quicker in value and pricing, and they took a lot longer to recover, where single-family homes recovered a bit quicker. So I'm not surprised to hear that a condominium was a victim of the sort of unicorn market years that we had. And that's what I'm going to get into next. But first, I got to say hi to my buddy in Omaha, David. Hey, buddy, thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out on the stream. Hope your week's going good. The other thing about this is that, and this is just my knee-jerk reaction. I don't know this property. I didn't look up this property. They didn't provide the address. If I wanted to, I could go find it, right? But I don't know anything about this property. But what I can tell you is that it's a luxury condominium, which that in and of itself is going to have a much smaller, desirable buyer base, right? The pool for buyers is just going to be less in a specialized property like a luxury condo, just like the pool of buyers is going to be less for a new Ferrari than it is for a new Honda Accord, right? A lot of people want Honda Accords, like Honda Accords, and most importantly, can afford Honda Accords, whereas a lot of people can't afford a Ferrari. So it's that similar thing. It's about the pool of buyers. Additionally, when it comes to this specific property, what we're looking at here is right here, 2-bedroom, 3-bath. Okay, 3-bath is great, but 2-bedroom for a lot of people, that's not going to cut it, right? So we've pretty much alienated anybody that has more than 3 people in their family, because if you've got 4 or more, you're probably going to need multiple bedrooms. So this being a 2-bedroom probably decreases its desirability even a little bit further. And on top of that, it's a 2-bedroom with 2,300 square feet. I mean, this is a big, big condo. And the fact that there's so much space, this isn't even really adequate to be considered like a downsizing condo. So it would be one thing if it was 2 bedrooms and 3 baths, but it was in 1,500 square feet or even 1,800 square feet. Then maybe there's a little bit more desirability there, because people that are, older people, empty nesters, maybe those looking to downsize could say, hey, you know what? This is nice. A 2-bedroom condo, 3 bathrooms. It's only 1,400 square feet. It's got a great location. This is perfect. We'll sell the big house. We'll buy this. Excellent. But this one's almost 2,400 square feet. I mean, that's a lot to still take care of, manage, maintain, clean, all that stuff. And even if you do have the HOA, which, by the way, you're paying for, and if it's a luxury condo, it's probably a luxury HOA fee. So the HOA is probably also very expensive. Again, that could potentially detract from the desirability of the property. So the moral of this long-winded speech is that essentially this one unique property experienced a $650,000 loss. But to say that California homeowners are experiencing a $650,000 loss in value, to me, that's it's just flat out wrong. It's misleading, but it's the news doing what the news does. So that's my take on that in terms of, this specific property. I just think that it was unique to this type of setup, right? I think it's just unique to a very high-end, very niche product that didn't have a great experience on the market. Additionally, on top of this, they sold in January. I don't know. Let's see, November. Let's see. So so they said November 2022. November is slightly more active than January is. This is a tough time to sell a home, and that also could have gone into part of the reason that they didn't net a great price. So there's that to think about as well. And obviously the last thing is that when this property was originally purchased, this was in November 2022. I mean, we were still kind of in the unicorn days there. There was extremely, extremely low inventory. Interest rates had ticked up, but not like insanely high at that point. So certainly the market has changed, right? I mean, you've heard me say this, guys. 2020, 2021, and 2022 are going to be referred to as the unicorn years of real estate from now until probably we are all off this earth. We're not going to see that stuff again. So I don't want to say it's unfair to compare it, but you just have to keep all this in mind when you're looking at the headline, looking at the article, and really trying to understand what they say. This article is not about California homeowners losing a ton of equity. This is about a unique case where homeowners in California lost a substantial amount of money because they had to sell it. And my guess is that someone who has a 2-bedroom, $3.5 million luxury condo, they probably have other properties. This is probably not their only property. And they're probably not insanely worried about a $650,000 loss. I could be completely wrong. Maybe these people lost their nest egg. I don't know. I hope they didn't. But this isn't like looking at a cookie cutter, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot single family home in a suburb. This is a completely different animal. Hey, Cackleberry, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I bet you guys are getting a ton of snow. Is it snowing up there? Let me know. Let me know if it's snowing up in the mountains for you yet. All right, let's march on. The broader California housing. Did we go over this? Yes. The broader California housing market has shown signs of volatility. What real estate market hasn't? While some areas such as San Francisco and San Diego have seen price gains, Los Angeles remains a market where price trends are inconsistent. Some economists predict a potential decline in home values due to rising inventory and affordability concerns, according to experts who previously spoke with Newsweek on the California housing market. All right. So, before we do this, let's see. We got Cackleberry's got something for me. Did you see this? A vacant lot on which a home was destroyed due to the Palisades fire is sold for nearly $1 million less than a month after hitting the market. Yeah, I did see that. That's been all over the news down here, and yeah, very, very interesting. I got to say, I'm not surprised. Right. I know I did a little reading on that topic, and from what I'm aware of, that the owner of that property is not in the area. They own that property. I don't know if they used it as a rental or if it was a second home. That I don't know. But they did say that it wasn't their primary property, and they didn't want to rebuild, and they didn't want to deal with it, so they decided to sell it. And obviously, they're well within their bounds to do that. In fact, I don't think that lot selling is a bad thing, or I don't really even think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that newsworthy. Some people are going to sell their lots. Some people are going to rebuild. I think it would be unrealistic to assume that everybody is going to spend the time and the energy and the resources to rebuild, especially a place like in Palisades where it's going to be very expensive to do so. It'll be a little bit more economically viable in the Altadena area, but I'm not surprised. That land is extremely, extremely valuable. And I know that there will be investors, international investors, developers that are going to want that land. It's beachfront. It's in Malibu. It's not going to just lose all of its value because of one insane event. But it is pretty remarkable that, someone's willing to pay over $1 million. But hey, if you can stick a $10 million home on there, buy the lot for $1 million, build the house for $3 million, sell it for $10 million. I don't know. Seems okay to me. So yeah, someone's going to be the new owner of that. We'll have to see what happens with that. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. I think it'll be more interesting to see how this type of scenario unfolds in the Altadena community, which is a little bit smaller, a little bit more tight knit, and it's just a little bit different than Palisades. So we'll see what happens. Oh, no snow yet, just rain. Oh, that should change because it's cold and wet here. It's 48 and drizzling. Well, it's like sprinkling a little bit, but I'm sure it's coming, Cackleberry. So stay safe up there. All right. So, yeah. So Los Angeles, this is important to note here that they're not saying county. This is Los Angeles. City remains a market where price trends to be inconsistent. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Los Angeles is a very diverse community. There's a lot of different pockets that go into Los Angeles. There's a lot of different neighborhoods, some much more desirable than others, some much more expensive than others. So I'm not surprised that price trends are inconsistent. I don't even necessarily know if that's a greater sign of the market. Really, I think it's probably just more the result of a very eclectic, diverse neighborhood with all sorts of different properties at all prices and all sizes. I did read this article that they linked to. I'm not going to bore you guys with it. This was an interesting article, and it basically said, yeah, the California housing market, it's a little, it's really expensive here, and there could be some issues because it is so expensive. But they end the article with, we're expecting a 4% increase in pricing. So I think in California as a whole, in the greater Los Angeles area as a whole, I don't think that there's going to be a huge problem on the horizon, but we never know. Hey, Maddie, it's been a little while. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. It's good to see you again. I saw a statistic that it takes over 2 years to get permits to rebuild in LA currently. I would sell the lot if it was me. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. One of the worst parts about the construction process is the timeline to get permits and approvals. And a lot of that has to do with our environmental requirements. Now, on some projects, the environmental requirements are a little bit lower. Obviously, if you're just building a single family home, there's a little bit less that you have to do than if you're building a 45 home development. But you're correct, Maddie. The time that it takes to permit and get approval to even start building takes some time. I think 2 years might be a little on the long side for a single family residence. It's probably closer to like 12 to 14 months, but it's still a long freaking time. Don't get me wrong. Plus, it also takes a lot of money. Every time you want to do a permit, every time you have to file something with the city, every time you have to go back for a permit or plan check, costs money. And I think this is why, Maddie, that we saw a lot of people. I don't know if you watched, but there was a press conference that was televised within a few days after the fire, about a week after fire. President Trump came and had this town hall, and that was one of the things that they were hitting hard. Both President Trump and Gavin Newsom and the local officials were like, "We're going to streamline permitting. We're getting this through. We don't want people waiting months and months and months just to get a permit." My idea on that, and this is just an idea that came to my head. I don't even know how viable this is, but obviously, as we know, let me take Altadena, for example, because I'm a little bit more familiar with that area. Let's say, Altadena, tons of carnage, tons of damage, almost unthinkable. Y'all by now, y'all have seen the videos and the photos, absolutely unthinkable damage in Altadena. And there's going to be a lot of rebuilding, and it's going to put a huge strain on the building and permitting department and the process. So my thought was like, hey, you know what? Why don't we say, okay, if you're a resident in Altadena and if you are trying to permit a rebuild from the loss of the fire, and you are just permitting, your garden variety single family residence, nothing crazy, then you should be able to go to the neighboring city's building departments and get those plans approved. And the reason I say that is because building codes don't change a whole lot from city to city. They can change from county to county and obviously state to state, but city to city, if they're within the same county, there might be a few little tweaks here and there. And my thought is the city next door to Altadena, which would be a place like, Arcadia, or probably Arcadia would be right next door to Altadena. I don't know if Arcadia goes up that high, or like Monrovia, or like La Cañada, Pasadena, cities like that, South Pasadena. You should be able to go to their building departments and say, listen, I want to rebuild in Altadena, but I'm going to the South Pasadena, City Hall to go to their building department because they're way less busy. And if that city permits the building, then Altadena should honor it, right? It's not like these people are just going out and getting willy-nilly and building homes out of toothpicks that are going to be unsafe. The building department's gonna okay it. So that's just my harebrained idea. Nobody's going to listen to me. And I'm sure there's logistical challenges and reasons that wouldn't work, but that was just the idea that I came up with one day while I was doing yard work or something like that. So I do think that the permitting is going to be an issue. And that is certainly one thing that we're going to need to work on to speed the process up, to get those people back into their homes. So thanks for the comment, Maddie. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out. The California Association, oh, we got to put the article back up on the screen. This will be important. We're doing this one. Oh no, there we go. The California Association of Realtors recently released its fourth quarter 2024 Housing Affordability Index, highlighting ongoing challenges in the state's housing market. This we know. According to the report, only 15% of California households could afford to purchase the median priced home of $874,290 in the fourth quarter of 2024. That's crazy. Median priced home, $874,290. A slight decrease from 16% in the previous quarter and unchanged from the same period in 2023. To afford such a home, a minimum annual income of $220,000 was required to cover the monthly payment of over $5,500, which includes principal, interest, taxes on a 30-year fixed rate at 6.76. So this is very all-inclusive, but get that, just to afford the median home in California, $220,000 is what your income needs to be. Now, I know there's a lot of people watching. I got a decent amount of people in the chat right now. You guys are watching from all over the place. I'm sure David Matney's head is absolutely spinning. David, let me know what you think about this number. 220 grand is what you need as annual income to afford the average home in LA. But here in LA, believe it or not, $220,000 for an annual income, if it's a dual income household, it's not unfathomable. It's not unthinkable. Is it a high number? Absolutely. And certainly we need to get our inventory up and we need to get that number down. It's still extremely high, but it's just crazy to think that in LA, that's what it takes. That is what it takes. The report also noted that 24% of home buyers were able to purchase a median price condo or townhome priced at $670,000. This would require a minimum annual income of $170,000 to manage the monthly payment of $4,250. So you think, oh, okay, I'm going to get a starter condo. Okay, can't afford the house. I don't make $220K a year, but I make some good money. How about a condo? Well, you're going to need to make $170K to manage the monthly payment of $4,250. Now, here's the thing. With this, it is important to realize that, we don't know exactly. They're giving us these numbers, but we don't know exactly the breakdown of these numbers or how they're calculating them, if there's HOAs involved. So there are some things to take with a little bit of grain of salt, but there you have it. There's the breakdown. David, that's a crazy price. Yeah, it is crazy. That's a crazy average price. Innovative. Let me put that in perspective. If you make above 150K, you are the top 10% in the US. That is some good perspective, right? And I think a lot of people in California their jaws would drop if they heard that, because there are a couple places here in California where people make 150K a year and they are not financially free. But those places would be things like San Diego, the west side of Los Angeles, and then certainly Silicon Valley. So Cupertino, San Francisco, those areas up there, those types of cities with the tech heavy sector, that's where the people making $150,000 a year are like, we're barely getting by, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about that. 220K is ridiculous. That has to be top 1%. Ooh, innovative. Shall we go to the Google machine and see if we can find, let's do a quick Googling of US of Americans make over 200K. I Googled what percentage of Americans make over 200K. I'm going to share this tab really quick just so you can see I ain't lying. There we go. In 2023, 14.4% of US households earn $200,000 or more annually. This means that about 12% of Americans make $200,000 or more each year. So there you have it. Yeah, so that's a crazy amount. Let's see. I wish my house would sell for $800,000. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, Cackleberry, that would wish their house would sell for $800,000. And conversely, there's a lot of people out there that wish they could buy a house for $800,000, depending on where it is. It's kind of interesting how that works, right? It's all about the perspective. These figures underscore the persistent affordability challenges in California's housing market driven by elevated home prices and higher mortgage rates. The limited affordability continues to be a significant barrier for many potential home buyers in the state, which, is absolutely true. I'm going to pause really quick because I just thought of something innovative. I need you to do something for me, brother. So the second part of the stream, as you guys know, is we're going to pick comps. And Innovative left me a comment and said, Joe, can you show me how you pick your comps? And so I said, absolutely. So Innovative, what I want you to do is I want you to find a property that, is something that you're interested in. Maybe you're not going to go buy it, but a property that you would be interested in or you would want to buy in the area that you want to buy it. Go find one on Zillow right now and then put that chat or that link, put the address or the link in the chat. And then when we do the comp, I will use that property and I'll show you how I get comps for it. Okay. So throw that into chat when you have it, either address or a Zillow link, and we'll pull that up when we're ready. All right, let's move on, finish this out. So what people are saying. So Heather Ozer, 2025 car president and a Palm Springs realtor, which is not Los Angeles. That's a desert community. It's kind of a niche community, said in a press release. California's housing market ended the year with a positive note, with home sales reaching the highest level in 5 months. Okay, so she's saying that the housing market is good. Okay, interesting. With mortgage rates remaining at their highest level since early July and devastating wildfires taking a toll of the Southern California housing market, we'll likely have a slow start for the year, but demand should pick up once we enter the spring buying season. Okay, so right there, she's saying we ended the highest level in 5 months with home sales. Okay, that's a good thing. And she's going, well, we should see demand pick up as we get to the spring home buying season. Yeah, we usually do. Okay, well, that doesn't seem very alarming. Jordan Levine, Carr Senior Vice President and Chief Economist, said in the same press release, while the housing market is expected to improve further in 2025, stickier than expected inflation, the ongoing insurance crisis, and policy changes under the new White House administration are some of the hurdles that could present challenges for the market in the upcoming year. So yeah, I mean, we've been hearing that about, for a while. We got a new president, new policy. We don't know how it's going to affect things. None of this really, to me, signals anything. I mean, this is basically, to me, this is an article about a homeowner that got wiped. One homeowner that got wiped in one instance. And the rest of this is just kind of like, market looks okay. We don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be demand. So again, I wanted to talk about this because to me, this is a really good display of like, you can't just go off the headline. You need to read further. You have to dig a little bit deeper. So, okay. So with that being said, guys, we're done with the article. We're 32 minutes. So we're like almost like right at the halfway point. So I got that perfect. If you guys have any thoughts on the article, questions, put those into chat. Innovative. I'm going to go ahead to Zillow. I'm going to start looking for a property to comp. But like I said, come up with something, go on Zillow, find it, and shoot it to me, put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and we'll take a look at it. Also, anybody else out there, if you want to shoot me a city, a market, or if you have an exact property in mind and you want me to pull comps for it, I'm going to go on to Zillow and we're going to look at the property. I'm going to make some adjustments in the search criteria, and then I'm going to show you how I search for comps. Now, I will tell you, it's going to be a little bit different because when I look for comps, I'm looking in the MLS, and I have quite a bit more tools, search functions, parameters, and just different ways that I can really hone in on comparable properties. The MLS has far more data. It goes back much further, and it's much more accurate than Zillow. But I can't show you my MLS because my MLS is for realtors and brokers only. So we're going to do it on Zillow. So I'm just going to do the best I can on Zillow, but I still think it will be super, super helpful. So give me a sec to pull this up. If I could spell, it'd be cool. All right. Go over here. Actually, we're going to do this one. All right. So here we're on Zillow. I am just going until somebody, I got 9 people in chat. Somebody get me a city. Somebody get me a market, or somebody give me an exact address. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got an address. Innovative. There he is. There he is. All right. All right. Let's get it. All right. So we're going to put this in here. Oh, it'd be helpful if I spelled it correctly. I will do Omaha. I'll do Omaha next. Oh, and this is the one you're actually looking at, Innovative? Okay, this is perfect. This is awesome. This is great. This is great. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do, thank you, Maddie. Appreciate that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the listing and basically give you, my take on what I think of the listing and the location. So we're gonna go to the map view. We're gonna check it out. We're gonna go to Google Earth, and that's all part of the comp process, right? It's all part of it. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to read the description to make sure there's not any hidden information. And this is going to be in regards to infrastructure. Remember, this is where we're going to see if they talk about, oh, property has a new roof. Property has been replumbed with copper plumbing, new sewer lines put in, whatever it may be, recently painted exterior, whatever. So beautifully updated home with spacious backyard, perfect for entertaining. Modern kitchen features includes quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, and includes the fridge. I don't really care about this stuff because I'd see that stuff in the pictures immediately. I'm looking for stuff I can't see in the photos that could make a difference when it comes to the desirability of the property and therefore the value of the property. Washer and dryer are also included with purchase, and furniture is available and negotiable. This home offers a seamless blend of style and convenience, making it move-in ready for its new owners. With ample space both inside and out, this property is ideal for gatherings and relaxed living. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity. They only would have been better if they said, hurry, this will sell fast, because the next thing I saw is this. So 138 days on Zillow. So innovative. This is good for you. Obviously, I don't need to tell you this. You are a smart, savvy buyer. 138 days on Zillow. I would imagine that the sellers are probably very interested in selling the house at this point because it's been on the market for quite some time. I'm not, absolutely blown away by this write-up, but I digress. It doesn't really matter that much. So we know that we've got a high days on market. It looks like we have a semi-recent price cut, 1230. So about a month and a half ago, they cut the price. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,975 square feet. Looks good. From these photos that I can see here, yeah, it looks like it's in good condition. The one thing that would be my first critique on this house, innovative, is that be sure to see if it's a flip. I kind of get flip vibes, not totally, but I get some flip vibes out of this. Obviously, if it is a flip, just be careful. You want to have it inspected very diligently, very carefully. Hopefully these owners have been in the house for a little while and they've been able to put the flip to the test. And that's what we're going to check next. Let's see how long these people have lived here. All right, let's see. What do we got? Oh, okay. So it was for rent a lot. Wow. Seems like an extremely high amount of rent. 5,000. I mean, that's even high here for a house like that. Innovative. Is $5,000 a month for rent like exorbitantly high? Am I missing something? Because even in my town where this house would be 750,000, 5,000 is extremely high. That seems crazy. Rent removed for rent. Yeah. See, there's some weirdness. See, to me, listing removed. There's some funny business here. And again, if I was in the MLS, it would be a little bit easier for me to see the chain of what happened, but it's just interesting. So, okay, it's sold in 2019. Yeah, it originally was 150, 20, but that's too far. So it's sold in 2019, but they're not telling us what it sold for. And then it was listed for 421. It didn't sell. For 400, they reduced 399, didn't sell. They removed it, rented it, but then they removed it, and then they put it back on, and then they removed it, and this is interesting. This is very interesting. Obviously to me this doesn't insanely high. Yeah, I'm going to say I don't think that this is a bad house by any means. Maybe just the owners, the agent, they're just weird people. But this certainly means that the house has a little bit of a checkered past, right? It's kind of like a car. If you were buying a used car and the car had 8 owners and was for sale on and off for 5 years, you'd be like, what's wrong with it? Like, why does nobody want it? Why do people keep selling it? So I would say it gets like a little baby red flag for me. Innovative, if you've got an agent, I would definitely want them to dig into the history of why the home is for sale, how long the current people have lived there. Is it an LLC that owns it? Is it a corporation? Was it used as a short-term rental? All those type of things I would just want to know before making the offer. Does it make a huge difference to the valuation of the price? No, it doesn't really. The things that are going to make the biggest impact on pricing are location, and then condition. We already know condition. Condition looks pretty good from the photos. I can't tell by looking at the photos if this work is done well or not. it seems like it looks good. So I think condition looks fine. But let's talk about location. And I know they have a map on Zillow. I don't like the Zillow map, so we're not going to use it. Instead, we're going to share this tab instead, and instead we're going to go right here. All right, so for everybody, for full disclosure, I know nothing about, where are we? Shady Shores, Texas. Sounds wonderful. I know nothing about Shady Shores, okay? So this is all going to be off the cuff from a professional who doesn't know the area. So I'm just going to see what we're working with, and I'm going to give you my thoughts based on what good comps could be. All right, so the first thing I notice is looks like we're close to some type of body of water. Is it a lake? It is a lake. And let's zoom out and see where we are. Okay, so we're in the Dallas, kind of greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. Is this still considered Dallas-Fort Worth innovative? I don't know. It looks like maybe it is. Kind of is in the area. Let me know. But first and foremost, we're on a lake. Okay, so that's kind of cool, right? That's neat. So we're also going to need, it's not a lake property. A lake property would be like, one of these over here, or something like, right on the lake, but it's close. And that's probably, a nice amenity for people. That's probably a desirable point to living in this neighborhood, is that you've got this pretty large lake, and it looks like there's a boat launch and kind of recreation area here. So I'm sure that, if you have someone that's into fishing or boating or family, this is, going to be a nice draw to them. So we're going to need to work on finding properties that are, within a reasonable distance to the lake. So for example, if your agent says something like, oh, way over here is a comp, in this area, well, it could be, but it's significantly further away from the water. So just something to think about. All right, let's zoom in and see what neighborhood we're working with. Okay, so this is a pretty low density populated neighborhood. And it looks like we're working with houses on kind of like larger lots. And let's do a street view if it'll let us. Yeah, it will. Cool. All right, is it this one? Let's find it here. Well, let's see. There's a lot of trees in the way. No, it's not that one. That's a brick house. So we know that privacy is good because I can't even really see the house. Let's see if we can see it from over here. I think it's behind this big hedge. No, I don't know where it is. Huh. Is this the right house? Oh, I don't have an exterior photo. I'm going to look really quick at these and see if I can find an exterior. Oh, so they didn't even put an exterior photo of the house on the listing. Oh, but it is that house because I can see it. Okay. All right. So we're in the right spot. We're in the right spot. We are in the right spot. Okay. So this is the house in question. So we can see like, okay, it's nice. No neighbors like immediately around, really small side street. It's not on a major street. We've got some nice tree coverage. It's quaint. It's not the most polished neighborhood in the world, but it's nice. Looks good. All right. So now we're going to actually find some comps. Now we know what we're working with. We kind of know the area. We know the specs. We kind of get what we kind of know what the subject property is like. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to open a new tab really quick. All right. We're going to share this tab instead. All right. So now we're going to go back to our search. And we're going to find where this one was, somewhere here. Where did you go? 115 Carolyn Shore. Okay. Right, why the end of Shady Shores. Got some great names like Shady Shore Road. Like this sounds nice. This place sounds nice. Okay, so it's right here. This is where we're looking. So we can see right away that we don't have a huge bevy of active listings in this area. So when I'm looking at comps, and this is important, see, I didn't know this about Shady Shores. This blue line here, this is a city boundary, okay? Now, I don't know if there's a big difference between this city, which looks like Corinth, versus Shady Shores in property value. I can tell you in my market, if you go one street over, if the county changes or the city changes, it can make a huge difference on the desirability of the property. So for this instance, I am going to omit everything in Corinth. We're only going to be talking about Shady Shores. That's the only thing we're going to be talking about. because I don't know what Corinth is like. I don't know the price difference, okay? So right off the bat, we can see that there's not a lot of active comps available. Right off the bat, we can see that we've got one at 330, which is this guy right here. Let's see if it's gonna bring any of these. No, it's not. So let's open this one. It's not gonna let me open a new tab. Okay. So we have this one. Take a look at it. Okay, so this is 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,232 square feet. It's a brick house, so similar. Smaller square foot, right? Because before we were working with this. This is our subject property at 1,900 square feet. So this property on Oakwood is only 1,200 square feet. We can still use this as a comp. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean we throw it out. And the reason we want to use this is because it's one of the only other active listings that's remotely in this price range. So we can deduce that this property in this condition, so we can kind of see the condition and okay, looks good. It's not in quite as good as condition as the other property. We can see, you know, it's got like the tile floors instead of the laminate wood. This is a little bit older style. You know, it's got the white cabinets. It's just a little bit older style, but it still looks very clean for what it is. And the curb appeal is quite nice. So 3-bed, 2-bath. It's in a similar neighborhood. It's in the same city. It's close to the lake. And we've got a little bit less square footage. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the lot size and the year built. And again, we're going to try to find a comp that matches our property as close as possible. That's what the goal is. So let's go back to our subject property. And we see again, okay, 1975 square feet. So this one's much bigger. This one though is on a half-acre lot, over half-acre. The other one is only on 8,000 square feet. A half-acre is 22,000 square feet. The other one was 8,000. So this lot is almost like 2.5 times larger. And to me, that is a value adder. Some people don't like large lots, but large lots, usually typically the larger lot, the more land, the more real estate, right? The more it's going to be. So that's an important thing to think about. This is built in 1980. The other was built in 1988. We've got no HOA for either. So we don't have to worry about that. So, you know, this is a good comp. Let's share this tab. This one at Oakwood is a good comp. It's been on the market for 128 days. So we can see that the market is not really bearing this, you know, this low mid 3 price for this type of product. This home probably needs to be a little bit, it probably needs a price reduction unless the owners just don't care. Now, where the comps start to really get good is if we do this. We want to do use exact 3, 2 plus, and then we're going to go to home type, deselect all. We're only going to do houses. We can't use a townhome for a comp for a single family home, and obviously vice versa is true. So we're comping a home. We only want houses. And for pricing, we're going to set a minimum of 300, and we're going to set a maximum of, I would really like to do 425. I'll do 400. Okay, so now, as you can see in this highlighted area, there's not a whole lot we're looking at, right? So we have a couple other here, 361, 390, 400. And then we have a slew over here. This must be a new build. This must be a development. Yeah, it is. You can see how they're packed in. So we're also not going to use this because we can't really use new builds as a good comp because this is not a new build. This is completely different. I mean, you can see this is brand new construction. It has a different look. It's much, much newer. It just doesn't apply. So we got to use like for like. You can only use resale homes. So we're going to come back to this area where we saw these few down here. And these are not, I can tell just by the street layout, these are individual resale homes. So here they are. So these are actives. And so these are all homes that are on the market. And that's only one way that comps work. In order to get a good data, we need a mix of actives, we need a mix of pending, and we need a mix of sold to see what things actually sold for. It's one thing to say, oh, I want to sell my house for 400,000. It's worth 400,000. But we know that the true measure of value and worth is what a willing and able buyer is going to give you for that. So if a willing and able buyer only gives you 350, guess what? It's not worth 400, it's worth 350. So we need to add solds into the mix. In order to do that, we're going to go up here. Zillow does not have a thing for pending or in escrow. I really wish they did. They used to, but they don't now. So we're going to check sold. Now we can't do for sale and sold at the same time, which is kind of annoying. Now in this one, we're going to move out. We're going to see if there's any sold comps. Okay, there's no sold comps that fit this criteria. So we're going to get rid of the criteria and we're going to see what we can find that has sold. We're going to get rid of all of this. Any, apply. But we still want homes. So, and the interesting part is we're not getting sold data. We're not getting sold prices. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see if we click on it, we get some more information. I don't know why. Price unknown. This is strange. I've never seen price unknown before when it comes to this, which really puts the kibosh on picking comps because we want to see what homes sold for. So it's hard to tell because we need to know that. Let me just nuke this search and see. Let's go back over here. Maybe Zillow is just having a little bit of a hard time. And let's go back to here and let's do this and let's do sold and let's see if it's going to give us. Yeah. Okay. So, and this is possible. Sometimes some MLSs don't allow some data to be shared with Zillow and whatnot. I've never seen no sold prices on Zillow before. I've never seen price unknown. So innovative. This is kind of going to put, it's kind of going to put the, it's going to throw a wrench into my plan here. I can't really comp your property, but based on what I see, there's hasn't been a whole lot of activity. There hasn't been a whole lot of changeover. So if you have an agent, have them pull comps because they can go into the MLS and they're going to be able to pull comps for you. They're going to be able to see those sold prices. In that area, you're going to need to see houses that have sold in the last 6 months. We only go back 6 months. We can't go back much further than that because the market changes so quickly. So yeah, see that's why you can't always see sold price data. Yeah, and that's why you got to go to an agent. And quite honestly, it's frustrating for consumers, but you know, as you can see, there's a little bit of science to this, and it's good to consult a good local agent. So innovative. If you have a good local agent, tell them, hey, run me comps for this property. I want to see all the data. I want to see all the information. If you don't have, yeah, you did, but that's okay. I like the hard ones. If you don't have a good local agent, let me know. I'll get you set up with one because I got people out there. Yeah, ask a good local agent. Let's do another one. Let's see. We had a couple more come in. Let's see. Okay. All right. We're going back to Prescott. We're going back. Okay. Mount Vernon Avenue. I like Mount Vernon Avenue. I know that area. Okay. So we're going to go to here. No, this 111 South Mount Vernon. See if it comes up. Bingo. Prescott. All right. Oh, this is a cool house. You picked a good one, Cackleberry. This thing is freaking sweet. I love vintage homes. I love character homes. This thing is awesome. Big old vintage home. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so before we get into the weeds on this, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to see if we get sold data from Prescott. So I'm going to do this really quick. Bear with me, guys. Do this, open a new tab. We're going to share this tab instead. Back to search. And where was that one? This is the one thing I don't like about Zillow is when you click out of the search, it doesn't put you where you were. Okay, and we're getting sold prices. Awesome. So you can see all these are sold prices. Cool. We can comp this one. So let's get to it. That's my when I win the lottery house. Awesome. Hey, I hope you do win the lottery and I hope you do buy it. And then when I go to Prescott to visit my brother, you can invite me over and then I can take a look at your awesome house. All right, so let's go back to this, and I'm gonna share this screen with you guys. Okay, so it's Gurley. Oh, this is a great location. It's an awesome location. All right, so we have a beautiful historic property listed at 1.3 million, 5-bed, 2-bath, over 2,700 square feet. So it's a big boy. It just had a very substantial price cut, $200,000. That's a huge price cut. This one's probably been on the market for a little while. Let's see. 268 days. Yeah. In Prescott, this is a very expensive home. A very expensive home for Prescott. You know, lots of homes there range 400, 500, 600,000. So to have a $1.3 million home, it's a little bit more challenging to find a buyer. Remember the buyer pool, right? The buyer pool for this one, just much smaller. Okay. 8,700 square foot lot, built in 1921. Awesome. Location. The Shady Victorian is an exquisite 1906 historic home nestled in the heart of Prescott. The residence offers a unique blend of timeless elegance and modern comfort. Boasting impressive heritage, this property was home to one of the earliest pioneers of Prescott, the Daniel Hatz family. Obviously, it's very cool to have a home that has any type of historical provenance. It doesn't really do much to the value, but it is kind of neat. It is kind of cool. Special note: this is a vintage home. Vintage homes are considered to really be anything pre-1950 at this point. And really vintage, when we say vintage, it's like 1910, 1920, 1930. 40s is kind of on the cusp. So this qualifies as a vintage home. And when we're talking about vintage homes, it's very important that you pay very close attention to the infrastructure upgrades if they're there. Remember how we talked about this? This is an old home. We got to see if the plumbing's been updated. We need to know if it's been retrofitted with central AC and central heat. How old is the roof? All of these things. This is an old home. This isn't a 1990s home or a 2000s home where, oh, it'll all be fine. So that's what we got to be looking for on this. Hatz constructed the Governor's Mansion in 1864, which is now on display at Charlotte Hall Museum in Prescott. Listed on the National Historic Register and located within the renowned East Prescott Historic District, this beautiful early 20th century arts and crafts style home features the modern amenities of a remodeled kitchen and bathrooms with recent capital improvements, including HVAC, roof, exterior paint, on-demand hot water heater. See document tab for more information. So that's good. They call it capital improvements. I call them infrastructure upgrades. Tomato. Either way, it's good stuff, because last thing you want to do is buy a $1.3 million home and then dish out 30 grand or 40 grand for a new roof. So this is good to know. I'm not surprised about the days on market. Normally I would be like, oh my God, 268 days at, 1.3 million. This is an overpriced turkey. We talked about those, remember? But this is not, because this is not an overpriced turkey, because it's an extremely unique character home and there's just less buyers for it. This is a very niche home, and it's going to take a very special buyer that wants a home like this, that has the money for it. So that's why I would say not an overpriced turkey. Location wise, great location. This is like the downtown area of Prescott. This is the Courthouse Plaza. This is kind of the center of downtown. All this area is considered Whiskey Row. Super, super fun. It's just a great place to hang out. I love going down there. So, this is all good. Let's do the street view and see what we got. All right. I'm glad I saw this. This is why we street view, guys. You look at the default picture of the house and go, oh, that's really quaint. That's nice. Look how charming and neat this is. And then we go this way and we see this. All right. Don't take this the wrong way, but this is high density housing. This looks to me to be like apartments of some sort. It could potentially be some type of commercial mixed use. Could be offices. I doubt it. Looks like houses to me. Looks like apartments. But let's see if we can see what we can see. Oh, wait, I see a sign there. Let's see. Oh no, it's not houses. Oh, it's a real estate office. Okay, so that's good. At first, I thought those were going to be apartments. Anytime we have a house close to apartments or any type of high density or higher density housing, that is one of those things that it can detract from the desirability and the value of the property, because there's more people living next to you. Instead of just one neighbor, you've got 10 neighbors. Well, now all 10 of those neighbors need to be, considerate and cool and quiet and neat and clean, because it could affect your house. With this being a business office, it's going to be, only active during business hours. It should be pretty quiet in the evenings and weekends. Doesn't really make a big difference. However, let's keep going. This looks like a pretty big intersection, and by Prescott standards, this is a pretty decent size. So this home is close to an intersection. It is on what appears to be a fairly, it's not a big street, but it's also not like a quaint little side street. But it is tree lined. In the spring and summertime, this is going to be beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. And we can see that we're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of other different, craftsman, vintage homes that, these types of homes are going to hold the value. I mean, look at this one. This is good. But yeah, David, you're exactly right. This is realty, probably worse than apartments. Yeah, maybe so. Those pesky realtors. Lots of noise and a fairly busy street. Yeah. And those are the things that we want to take into account when we're comping. So when we pick a comp, if we pick something that's on a quiet little side street on a cul-de-sac, we can use it as a comp, but we need to make adjustments to value. If this home right here or this home right here has recently sold, chef's kiss. Those are like perfect comps. Now, I don't know the square footage. I don't know the size, but they seem to be a similarly sized home. This blue one maybe might be a little bit bigger than the subject property. This one seems to be pretty close to what we're working with over here. So those would be good comps. But I like to see, okay, so the home on this side, hey, this is cute. They got the white picket fence over here. This is a cute historic home. Like this is where you'd want to live. This is good. People are taking care of their stuff. So that's good. So that's the street view. So now we can start looking for some comps. Let's see. This is where we walk when we are in Prescott, and Mount Vernon is a very noisy street. Yeah, it is. It can be very, very noisy. All right. So, what happened to our Prescott? What happened? Did I close the tab? No. That's okay. We're gonna bring this back up. Zillow bugged out on me, but we're bringing it back up. What was it? What was the address again? 101 Mount Vernon. Let's go back. All right. So now we're going to switch over to our recently sold, and I just happen to know that this home. And now look at this, guys. Look at how much inventory is available in Prescott compared to where we just came from. I mean, I'm zoomed in pretty far, and look at all of the yellow. I mean, look at how many homes. Oh, I'm sorry. These are sold. I take that back. I take it back. Oh, Maddie, you had something about, my understanding is that Texas sold prices are not disclosed at all. That's interesting. I mean, I've always been under the assumption that closed real estate prices are public record, but maybe they are not in Texas. I would be interested to know if agents in Texas, because there's no way that banks would lend without being able to look at comparables. And there's no way that agents couldn't have, I mean, that's how we do all of our real estate pricing. That's very interesting, Maddie. I have an agent friend in Texas. I'm going to ask them, but that's interesting. Maybe it's just not public record. Here, it's public record, but maybe in Texas, it's not. Maybe you can only access that information if you're an agent or a broker. Very, very interesting. Oh, here we go. Texas law doesn't require you to list sale price. So innovative, does that mean, okay, so they're not required to list. So you're saying they're not required to list the sold price of the home, or they're not required to have a list price when a property is for sale? What does that mean? That's interesting. That's why you can't, so it must be sold because you can't always see sold price data. That's very interesting. It's very, very interesting to learn. Look, I learned something new today. What's behind a house? Is it another house? Okay. Let's find out. That's what the Google, we can go to the Earth view. We're going to go to the satellite view, and we're going to take a look, because I saw that in the street view too. It looked like maybe it could either be a garage or maybe a guest house. And if it's a guest house, that makes a huge difference on valuation. You would think that if it was a guest house, they would say that in the description, because that's a huge, huge, huge value add. And that looks like a garage. This is a very, very grainy photo. This isn't like the best quality, but it looks like we've got an alleyway here. Let's see, can I draw? Oh, we can. Let's find out. I think this is an alley. Yep. Okay. So this is an alleyway, and it's a garage. It's a single car garage with a pedestrian door, parking back here. So one car garage with 3 parking spaces. And it's a very nice garage. It almost looks like it could be converted to an ADU or a guest house. But yeah, so no guest house on this one. Yeah, David, this is a gorgeous home. This one's really, really nice. Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that. That's very interesting. And I wonder if that's just publicly. It's got to be just publicly. Interesting. All right. So we know what we're working with. We know we're working with a very, very, what appears to be a very nice, updated, maintained historical home in Prescott in a great location, slightly busy street. So let's get to comping. All right. So the house in question, I'm going to go to for sale now and hit apply. Okay, so the house in question is right here. There's another one not too far away. Oh, this is multifamily. So this is like a ton of little tiny homes. This is not a comp. Remember, we got to stay with the same style and property type. So this would not work. So we're going to now flip back to sold, and we're going to hit apply. And so we're going to look for anything in this area. Remember, our subject property is this one right here. We're going to look for anything in this area that has sold for roughly $1 million, and it needs to be around 2,700 square feet, and it needs to be like 4 or 5 bedrooms and like 2 or 3 bathrooms. That's what we're looking for. Recently sold. See, all these are too inexpensive. These are too affordable. We're going to also do this home type, deselect houses, and this is going to weed these out just a little bit. See, we've got one for 1.10. What is this guy? Let's take a look at this. Okay. And this sold. All right. So let's take a look at this. Is this a comp? So right away, we know that we've got much more square footage. This is 3,800 square feet. It's 1,000 square feet larger than our previous comp. So you could use this as a comp, but we got to make some adjustments. 5 baths, 7 bedrooms. So we've got 2 more bedrooms and we've got 3 more bathrooms. I mean, that's quite a bit. Looking at the photos really quick, and I'm just going to pop me up so I don't blast these photos everywhere. The condition is nice, and you all can go to Zillow and look if you'd like yourself. It's good. It's updated. It's not mega fancy, but it looks very clean. You could definitely move in. It could use a little updating here and there, but overall, it looks quite nice. All right. So, I'm sharing the wrong tab. There we go. This is what you all want to see. All right, let's take a look. Oh, we're not going to get a description. Should be down here when they're sold. I think they put them lower. Yeah, here we are. Rare opportunity. Own the most beautiful Victorian home in all of modern Prescott. 2.5 blocks from the courthouse square. Turnkey homes for your family. Vacation rental, bed and breakfast features. This 7-bed for include an extra deep 4-car garage. Okay. Wow. Open floor plan, entertaining, 10-foot ceilings, 3 suites. I mean, this is a really nice house. Okay. Enjoy outdoor living, car shows, restaurants, bars, festivals. Okay. So I don't see anything here that is a red flag. This seems like a nice property. This one sold on October 7th, 2024. So it's fairly recent. It's within kind of our 6-month time span here. Based on this property, to me, let's do one thing before I make my verdict. I want to go, where's my satellite view of this? Not going to give it to me? Not going to give me the map view? All right, we got to check out the map because we got to look at location. We've got to look at location. All right, share this tab instead. So here we are. Okay. Oh, all right. So we were just right over here. So this appears to be a slightly smaller street. Let's see if Goodwin is a big street though. I don't know. Let's find out. What do we got here? All right, so here it is. All right, so Goodwin. Oh, so this is Pleasant. This is not a big street. There you can see these diagonal street parking stalls. This is 1 lane each way. Yeah, that's a small street. Oh, it's a stop sign. And this appears to be a relatively small street as well. And it looks like, there's an American Legion right across the street. That's nice. So yeah, this seems to be very pleasant. This is not a major street. This location certainly is better. These are, this is on a corner. The other one was close to a corner. So I would say that this is a good comp. We do need to make some adjustments though for it. So if this was my only comp that I was going to use, I do think that certainly, I'm sure this step, I do certainly think that this home on Mount Vernon is in better. It has more curb appeal. I mean, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous home. They took photos on a great day. I mean, they did a good job marketing this property. One thing I want to do really quick, though, is this. I want to take a quick peek at these photos. This home is really dialed in. It's not nearly as updated. It's much more historical. Like if someone is looking for a historic home, this is it. But there's so much beautiful woodwork. There's a lot of original features. I mean, if you're someone that really wants a true character home, this is really, really quite nice. It has had some, kitchen updates. Okay, cool. So we can get back to what we're doing here. So in my opinion, given what it is, I definitely think that this property is too expensive. The fact that it has 2 less bedrooms, 3 less bathrooms, and 1,000 less square feet. It's a similar style of home. It's a very, very similar location, and it's a similar condition. And that one sold for $1 million not that long ago. I would say that this home that we're looking at here is a slightly better home overall, given the specifications, the condition, the look. So I think this home is a little too expensive. So that's how that's how you choose comps. You just evaluate everything. I'm going to do one more for you guys, and then I'm going to go eat dinner. David, I'm surprised at the trees. This is not what I picture in my mind for Arizona. David, it's really important to realize. So Prescott is cut from a different cloth than almost the rest of Arizona. Prescott's a lot more like Flagstaff. And that's because Prescott and Flagstaff are both at elevation. Prescott is around, I think, 5,000 square feet. Flag is much higher. Flag, I think, is closer to 10, but elevation of Prescott AZ is 5,300 feet. So Prescott, I'll show you. I mean, look at some of these photos. Like this is Prescott, Arizona. It's beautiful. It's not a desert. I mean, it's like being in the mountains, and they actually get snow a couple times a year. Let's do elevation of Flagstaff, 6,800, and Flagstaff actually has a ski resort. So yeah, Prescott is a little bit different. It snows in Prescott. It doesn't get much above 95 degrees. It'll get down to like 25 degrees when it's really cold, but it's a great place. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. That one is really hard to comp. It's kind of an outlier being historical. Yeah, the historical ones get a little bit trickier, but I'm glad you guys gave me 2 hard ones, and I like it. I'm glad you didn't just give me some like cookie cutter tract home, and I'm like, oh, the comp is the home next door. So this is good. This is a good exercise. Prescott is very similar to Idlewild, which is why we like it so much. Yep, very similar, kind of that mountain feel. A little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more rustic, but yeah, it just has that mountain kind of vibe to it. So I can definitely see why, if you're an Idlewild person, why you would like Prescott. Makes a ton of sense. All right, folks, let's do one more. I know there was another one in here. I know there was another address. I know there was. We've had so many chats tonight. This has been great. Oh, here we go, Maddie. Oh, this one disappeared? Did it disappear? Let's see if we can find it. Oh, I got it tight. Well, see, the problem is like my microphone is like right in front of my keyboard, so I have to like type like this, and I never get things right. Four Seasons private residence. Is this it, Ms. Maddie? Let's see. Is this the one? 9,000 West 3rd, number 105. This does look like it. I'm glad, Cackleberry. That is what I'm striving to do. Just drop a little bit of knowledge on you guys, and hopefully it helps. And this way, even if you don't, understand exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not giving you this information so that you can do it yourself. I mean, partially I am. But the reason I'm giving you guys this information is because when you do sit down with a real estate agent and it does come down to writing an offer on a property or selling your home, I want you to be armed with the information so that at least you have an idea of what that agent or broker is talking about. Now you have a little bit more independence. You have a little bit more ability to be like, hey, no, wait a minute. You can't use that comp. That's 5 bedrooms and my home's 3 bedrooms. And if you are going to use that as a comp, how are you adjusting for that difference? What's your value adjustment? Ask that when you interview a real estate agent, and their eyes will probably be like, what do you mean? Just sign the listing agreement, sign the offer. So again, I'm glad this is helpful information, and I'm doing this so that hopefully everybody watching is a little bit more empowered to, be able to take control of their own real estate destiny and not just blindly trust whoever you found, right? So I'm glad you're liking it. Glad you're getting some good knowledge out of it. All right. This home is freaking cool. Oh my gosh. This thing is like out of a magazine. Okay. So, is this the one, Maddie? Is this the one that I talked about? Did you give me the address for the one that's in the story that I just covered? Let's see. It's a Four Seasons private residence, which is the same as the other one. I'm going to go down to the pricing history. Yeah, it is. It totally is. Look, Maddie, I don't know if you did that on purpose, but that's kind of cool. I'm glad that you were able to find it. This is fun. So everybody, this is, if you were here early for the first half of the stream, this is the property we were talking about where these homeowners took. Awesome, Maddie. If I ever need an assistant I don't know where you're located. I think you're back east, but oh no, you're up north. You're in like the Sacramento area, if I recall correctly. If you ever come down to Southern California and you want an assistant and you need a job as a real estate assistant, you can come work for me. This is a cool house. So the article that I talked about in the first part of the stream, these homeowners in LA lost 650 grand in value or whatever from what they paid for it. And this is why you're going to see this is a very niche property. This isn't going to work for everyone. 2-bed, 3-bath, 2,300 square feet. I wonder what the HOA is on this. Yikes. It's probably insane. No. Residence 105, the Four Seasons, one of a kind, spectacular townhome residence, features 2 spacious bedrooms plus a massive downstairs den bonus room with a full bath. Outdoor terrace, private 2-car garage, directly accessible, towering above its neighbors and set in a coveted central location, adjacent to iconic Four Seasons Hotel, Four Seasons private residence. I mean, this is for somebody that's uber wealthy. This is crazy. The newly built 13-story building. The residents offer living spaces steeped in California modern style. Blah, blah, blah. 19-seat IMAX private theater. I mean, this is crazy. In-residence dining, housekeeping. I mean, this is madness. This is crazy. Man, it would be fun to sell a property like this. But also very hard. I want to see what the HOA cost is on this. That's one of the first things I'm going to look at. Whoa! Do you all see this? I've never seen anything like this. Whoa. I'm going to make this really big. $8,400 a month HOA. $8,400 a month. What? I mean, look at what's included, but like $8,400 a month. Yo, the average mortgage on a home in California is $55,000, taxes and everything included. $8,400 a month. Now you're starting to see probably why. Yeah, right? Insane. That's the highest HOA fee I've ever saw. I was expecting to see high HOA fee for this property because it's luxury. It's Four Seasons. This is going to be white glove service. I mean, whoever bought this is okay with spending $3 million on a townhome, a 2-bedroom townhome, and then is also not batting an eye at spending $8,400 a month in an HOA. That's why, again, guys, the story that we read, you got to take it with a grain of salt. They're not talking about the run-in-the-mill property. They're not talking about your garden variety California house. This is why you got to dig deeper, because this is a very niche home. This is a very unique property, and this is something that is not going to apply to everyone. I mean, this thing it's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's beautiful, but yow. Now this is a condo. This is actually, this is good to comp. I want to find the map on this though really quick so that I can get the location. But comping condos is a lot easier than vintage homes or historic homes. And it's because the comps are usually right next door. We're going to do this. All right. So here we are. We're that red bubble. Let's boom it. Okay. So this one is at Beverly Grove, Beverly Hills. All right, guys, this is Beverly Hills. I don't need to explain Beverly Hills. We all are familiar with Beverly Hills, right? Nobody needs an explanation. That's probably some of the most expensive real estate in the entire United States is in this area right here. This here is the Hollywood Hills. All of this is where your crazy stuff happens. This is where all those Hollywood Hills parties, all these insane properties, all in these little winding nooks and crannies. I mean, this is elite level real estate, okay? And this property is not that far away. And this is, for anybody who wants to know, this is the Sunset Strip. This is where all the fun stuff is. The Whiskey A Go-Go, all sorts of crazy good Hollywood history and memorabilia. Chateau Marmont, where a lot of celebrities have partied. Some celebrities have died. Crazy, crazy stuff. So this is in a really, really cool area. We're pretty close to the west side, Santa Monica. I mean, all of this area is, this is primo real estate. All right, so let's dive in. In here, the location is really not going to make too much of a difference because all of this stuff is all primo real estate and it's urban. This is an urban environment. So we already know that lots are going to be small. We already know that it's going to be congested. There's not going to be ample parking. That's all kind of a wash when we're doing more urban comparable analysis. So what we need to do now at this point is we need to find another comp in here that's sold. So we're going to look. So we are just below the 2 right here, Beverly Grove between Beverly Hills. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go back to our search and it was somewhere in here. The 2, we're gonna keep zooming in. There's so many that have sold and we're gonna go back and I'm gonna find it. Burton Way. We're looking for Burton Way and Doheny. Burton Way. Beverly Boulevard, there's Beverly. I will find it. And this is what I don't like. The MLS, I would be like, it'd be no problem because I would have it exactly. Here's Beverly. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. Gonna find it. I'm on a mission now. Okay, so south of Beverly. South of Beverly. Where's the 2? Beverly Grove, it's somewhere in here. It's somewhere in here. It's oh, maybe here? It's one of these. Nope. Let's see, and it's on 3rd Street. I'm gonna find this. Oh, here we go. 3rd Street. It's got to be somewhere here. I don't know why I'm not seeing this exact property. 3rd. Burton, north of Burton, Doheny. Doheny 3rd. It's somewhere in here. I don't know. Oh, it's, yeah. Okay, Burton. It's got to be, I don't know why it's not showing up. But it's one of these in here. It's on 3rd. So it's somewhere in here. I wonder if it's one of these residences. It's interesting that I can't seem to, do we get an earth view on this? No, we can't. Let's go to this satellite. There we go. Now we're going to have a little bit easier time. We're almost there, guys. I promise. Doheny and Burton. Okay. It's one of these. So interesting. It's not in this block, but it would be in here. And for some reason, it's not coming up and sold. Oh, do I have? That's why, Joseph. I had townhomes turned off. No wonder I couldn't find it. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry for making you wait through that, all that nonsense. Okay. Whoa, one of these was 12 mil. What? Wow. A studio for 12 million. Yikes. Okay. So we can see that we've got some comps in here. We know that there's a few that have sold in this area. So 2.6. So this was 2.6. This is in the same address. This is the same building. This is number 104 that actually just sold for 2.6. So slightly less. So this is how I would comp it. I would only be using properties in this sort of whatever they called it. They called it the where's the actual listing? I forget where the listing is. But wherever that actual, there's a couple in here, one for 2.6, one for 3, one for 4. I mean, there's a lot in here. I can't zoom in anymore. This is the most it'll allow me to zoom in. But all these are in that same vein. So we would just be looking for stuff. I mean, look at some of these. Look at some of these views. It just completely opens up. I mean, this is amazing, right? 2 bed, 2 bath, 2,300 square feet for 4.8. So when we're comping these condos, a lot of it's going to come down to the actual type of unit, right? So if it's a first floor unit, it could be less desirable than an upper floor unit, right? So we need to keep in mind about all this. It's really hard to comp these electronically because so much goes into the building, right? We know that there's other things in here selling. So this one was 2 bed, 3 bath, 2,300 square feet. This one's 2 bed, 3 bath, 2,400 square feet. This one sold for slightly less. It's hard to know, what the reasoning behind it is. This one looks nice too. This looks like it might be a ground floor. Maybe this is just the lobby. I'm not sure. And they're showing all the amenities and stuff. This doesn't look like it's quite as nice of a unit. It's not quite as styled as well. It might not have the view. So it's hard to see. But this is this is how I would comp it. We'd have to stay in this community. We'd have to stay in this little nook, right? This one looks like it's low studio. So hasn't been any recent sales in here. And again, we can only use comps that are recent. That's the most important, one of the most important things with comps. All these were sold, pretty in the distant past. So, but wow, some pretty amazing real estate. This is, folks, this is what $3 million will get you in downtown Los Angeles. This isn't actually even technically downtown. It's close to downtown. Downtown is over here. But this is, I mean, all this area right in here. I mean, this is prime stuff. For everybody who doesn't know, this is the Pacific Palisades. This is what burned. This all up in here. All of this stuff burned. So just in case, oh, you can't see this, share this tab. I'll show you. This is where the little red balloon. This is where we were traipsing around digitally. And this is what burned in the Palisades fire, all right here. A lot of this stuff. So unfortunate, but you can see why. If you were part of my fire stream, you can see all this was ripe. All this was ripe to burn, and it did. Mendenville Canyon, this was a hotspot. So all of this, I mean, just this whole area is basically gone now, unfortunately. So I cannot even imagine living in LA like that. Little bit different than Idlewild, isn't it? Just a smidge bit different. All right, guys. Another phenomenal stream. Thank you guys so much for your participation. Cackleberry, David, Maddie. Good to see you again, Maddie. It's been a little while. Thanks for hanging out. Innovative, thank you for a wonderful idea for the stream. If any of you guys have ideas, or if you want me to cover topics, or if you're like, Joe, what about this? What about that? I always love to hear from you guys, and I'm always up to do whatever you guys want me to do. So, it's one of those things where I'm always going to do an article first, but then if you guys want to do some, I'd much rather do this type of stuff. It's much more fun. I can talk at everybody for an hour and a half, but I don't think it's quite as engaging or fun. So let me know if you guys like this one. Let me know if you have any other ideas for ideas that you want me to cover. Again, if you like the stream, if you're new here, please hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Give me that like, please. I hope I earned it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. It does help me out, helps out the channel. It's 100% free. I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be covering another article, another topic. I don't know what it'll be. Oh, Cackleberry, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, David. Appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out, brother. Thanks for hanging out. So I'll be back next Wednesday. I hope everybody has a phenomenal week. If you are in an area, if you're local to me, we're going to get a ton of rain. Cackleberry, hey, up there in the mountains, stay safe. You're probably going to get some snow. Be careful out there. Everybody stay safe. Be nice to someone. Don't be mean. Have a great week. I'll see you all on Wednesday. And thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it.